Welcome back to the Sheep in the Meadow podcast. I'm happy to be here today, the first one of the new 2024 to 2025 school season. Today we have here Liz, our athletic trainer at Mepham. How are you doing today, Liz?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing very good. I'm very excited for the first episode, and I'm so happy that you were able to make it on today.
I am so grateful that you guys had me on for your first episode. That's awesome.
So, obviously we were setting up for a little while, but we were also waiting on you because when you get to the school a little bit later around the school day, around 8th or ninth period for us, right?
Yep.
So obviously after school, that's when mayhem begins for you with sports and stuff like that. What are some of your responsibilities when it comes to, like, as soon as 2:15 hits, that last school bell happens, and what is, like, the experience every day at that moment, at that time, before sports start?
So it's a little hectic, but even before I get into the building, it's even me going out to get the golf cart. Usually I get to the school around 1 o'clock, 1:15, the latest. I get the golf cart set up, situated, anything that I need on there, crutches, med kits, AED. I'll go and check in with the nurse. I'll check in with Dr. Murphy. And again, that depends on the day. Then once 2:15 hits, that bell hits, I am down in the office and I usually get swamped. People are running in for practice. I have an order of which I take care of things. If somebody that has a typical injury or a chronic injury, they come in, they'll get taped or wrapped and they'll get situated for practice. If they need to be stretched, that's the second level of what happens. If they need any kind of evaluation, if it's a new injury, something that I don't know about, usually we'll then go and fill out an accident report and we'll go and see what's going on. I'll take a look and see what our next steps are going to be, if it's something that we can handle in-house or it's something that warrants a doctor visit.
Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, obviously I was down there to just give you information on what, like, this was going to look like. And, literally, I was down there as soon as the bell hit, and everybody started flooding your office. But I was also going to ask you, like, when you said that you have to fill out an accident report every time there's, like, an injury with a kid or whatever, something like that, from what I've seen and what I know, there's so many injuries. Like, some may be undiagnosed, but even the diagnosed ones, everybody is, I feel like, always injured. Nobody is ever completely healthy, especially when it comes to the football team. I have a lot of friends on the football team, and, like, take Matt, for example. We were watching football yesterday. He could barely walk. He was bruised literally everywhere on his body. So how many accident reports do you have to fill out? Like, when it comes to that, how many kids actually come to you with a diagnosed injury that you should be aware of?
A lot, a whole lot. At that point, I can't delve into each person and delve into each specific injury and whatnot. Like, you mentioned somebody that I can't tell you exactly what it is that's going on, but we go by whether or not it's soreness. Are they hurt or are they injured? So are you hurting because you're sore? You took a couple hits and, you feel it. When you fall off your bike, you feel
Right.
the cut, you feel the bruise. But did you fall off your bike and scrape your knee, or did you fall off your bike and break your leg? So that's
Right.
also what we have to see. A lot of the time, we have to make sure of what it is, and that's what I'm here for. It's, okay, are you hurt or are you injured? And I try to make sure and take care of everything, right down to soreness, right down to a need for surgery.
And another thing, too, so we were talking about how flooded your office gets after the school day ends. And everybody's coming down there to get taped or to get stretched or to get Band-Aids or this or that. And I've thought about this like multiple times. Like, you have to get to a point where you can't meet all these kids' expectations. Like, there's so many people that need to get stretched, so many people need to get taped. Like, it gets to a point where they're not going to be able to make it there to practice in time and get stretched before. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many other kids that need help. So, like, has that, like, ever happened to you where, like, you have kids that come in and they're, like, they're late. Like, you can't help them because they have to get into practice or something like that?
The coaches typically understand and they'll give a little bit of leeway. Like, hey, I went over to Liz. It was a little swamped. 9 out of 10 times the coaches are like, okay, that's fine. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also why I do have the order of the way I do things of, okay, whoever needs to be taped is going to get seen right away, because then they can get taped and brought out to practice and sent
Right.
out to practice. If I stretch somebody, it's usually me going and saying, all right, you stretched yourself. You feel like you need a little bit more of a stretch. I will stretch you a little further. And
Okay.
then if they are a new injury or a new issue that's going on, a new thing that occurred, that's why that's the last thing I'll handle. I'll take a look at them, I'll see what we need to do and what our next move is. Most of the time I'll say, all right, let's rest for today, see how it feels. And then if it's still hurting the same and or worse tomorrow, I'll get you in with a doc. And that's one of the things I am pretty quick about. We'll go right away. I'll shoot a message over to one of the doctors that takes whoever is injured's insurance, and I'll get them in next day or same day.
Got it.
So instead of you guys waiting on hold and having your parents
Yeah.
call and sit there and try to finagle and figure out what's going on, I can get you guys in, like I said, same day, next day. And it's a little bit of a more streamlined VIP, if you will, treatment.
Yeah, I know you always have the best connections for the doctors and whatnot, which makes sense. I mean, you're you're an athletic trainer.
Yes.
Correct. There's a difference. What's the difference between a physical trainer and an athletic trainer?
So a physical therapist deals with a lot more of a wider range of a geriatric community. They deal with more neurological injuries. They are there for the rehab, for if post-injury. As an athletic trainer, I'm trained more in emergency care, and I'm there for, okay, I'm on the field from the moment you get injured. I make a call of whether or not we need to get you to a doctor to get a better diagnosis, get an MRI, get an X-ray. What are our next steps? Do you need surgery? Do you need to go into physical therapy?
Right.
You'll do physical therapy after a little bit, and we'll see how you feel after that. And then I'm there to get you back on the field for longer. You guys are with me throughout the whole, every step of the way of the injury.
Got it. Okay. Now, you're also, I mean, you probably already know this, but you're a very beloved figure in the Mepham community. Everybody loves to see you, and everybody appreciates what you do. But I know you also have to do a lot, like you said, with making sure somebody has a doctor's appointment, or making sure everybody's wrapped and this and that. So how does that play in, the fact of you being so charismatic and making a deeper connection with like the athletes? How does that take a toll really on your the energy and the fatigue that also plays in with you're doing a lot of the professional stuff, as in helping kids with injuries and stuff like that, but also making them feel comfortable and making them feel like you're not just an athletic trainer, but you're also a friend, somebody that you can talk to.
So I like to make sure that everyone that comes into my office or comes to talk to me feels safe. And that is my main priority, that they feel that it's not just my office. It is the office that I want you guys to feel comfortable with me. I want you guys to be able to feel safe, that you're there and be able to talk to me about what's going on, or if there is something going on, just not outside of sports. If you play an outside sport or outside of the school, I'm here for it. You are one of my athletes no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really take a toll, because I really do love my job and love what I do. And Mepham community is just so amazing. This has been one of the best places I've ever worked. And just from not only the kids, it's the faculty, it's the parents, it's the community, it's the administration. It's a very supportive community, and it makes me want to do as much as I can for you guys and be a member of the community as well.
Got it. Yeah, because I don't know if you know who Miss Geller is or Mr. Patton. There's a lot of figures or even teachers in Mepham that a lot of kids adore. And I've actually had this conversation with Miss Geller where I'm like, kids, she's a teacher for leadership, and she does a lot of the community service events and stuff like that. But I've had this conversation with both of them. They were both in the classroom, and I was like, this must be so emotionally draining. The fact that somebody comes to you, you have a lot of kids that come to you and tell you all of their problems and stuff like that, right? That has to take such a toll to show an effort and give energy to each and every single kid that does that in one day. That has to you must be so exhausted. And I feel like that's not talked about enough. That's just something that people don't really consider. So like that's why I feel like, you know, when you have people like that, it's, you know, obviously it's appreciated, but it's not thought about how much energy really goes into each person from that person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, burnout is real, and that's a big portion of it. You can't pour from an empty cup, but there's also, you can light the spark. You can be the match that lights the spark for other people, and it's a very positive way to be. And teachers like Patton and Geller are fantastic in that. And it's sorry, that's the walkie.
It's all good.
Patton and Geller are fantastic in that they are so involved. Same with Miss Dennis. All the teachers and faculty here, I try to take note from them and see how they are, and I want to give the same energy because it is just so awesome. And this community just, it does light that spark in you to say, I want to do more, I want to give more. And yes, burnout, like I said, is very real, and it's sometimes very tiring. But at the end of the night, when I get home, I can still go home with a smile on my face knowing that I was able to help everyone to the best of my ability that day.
Right. Now, I know we were talking about how you're such a charismatic and outgoing person, but you were just telling me about how you scared some of the freshmen today. What happened with that?
Oh, not today. It was during recovery yesterday because I have the recovery clinic. And
do you want to explain what the recovery clinic is?
Yeah, sure. So we had the recovery clinic, and that is every Sunday in Garden City from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. We have the ability to go, and we have massage, stim, Normatec boots. We do cupping, scraping. There's a bunch of ice baths. We have cryo chamber. And it's just getting your guys' bodies ready for the next week of sports to come and recover from the last week of sports. So a big portion of athletes to prevent injuries is making sure that your body is fully taken care of and ready to go again. I had two of the freshmen come in, and it was their first time at the recovery clinic, and they saw me, and I said, "Hi guys, I'm so excited to see you." And they were like looking at me like, "Oh my goodness, hi." Like they haven't interacted with me before.
Right.
So I don't think that they were expecting me to be excited to see them and to know their names, which I'm glad that I did, because one of them said, you know who I am? I'm like, yes, of course I do. I'm like, you're on this team and you play this position. And they're like, wow, but we practice at BOCES.
Right.
Or we practice outside of school. There's so many people. How do you know who I am? And I'm very lucky because the team that we have at the recovery clinic they work as a unit. And we have, actually my husband comes and helps out as well. He'll get hot packs and ice bags and make sure that, everything is clean as things are going, like throughout the time that we're there.
Right.
And he said she just likes what she does and kept on going to what he had to go do next. So it was funny just to see them be like, not scared, but surprised. So, but it was really funny to me. I'm like, guys, don't worry. I'm here. And if I don't know people, then I want to know them. I want to know who they are and what they find interesting, what sports they play, and what they do outside of school. I like to know the total athlete, not just, okay, Luke plays volleyball. He's got a sister that plays softball and played volleyball too. That's it. That's all I know. No, I like to know that Lily did her farming project, or that you're one of the BMB kids. And I love seeing the BMB kids go and be athletes, do this, be student leaders. It's amazing to me. I think that you guys have so many facets to you as people, and I want to be able to help, be there if you guys ever need.
Right. Which, again, is very appreciated if you don't hear it very much, but everybody obviously loves you. The recovery clinic, I actually have a question about that. Is it closed, like, specifically on Sundays just for high school athletes, or is if anybody can go in there, right?
Anyone can go. I have one gentleman that he comes there. He is an ultra marathon runner.
Oh, wow.
which is intense. You have the marathon, it's 26.2 miles.
I was gonna
Then you
say.
have the ultra marathons that they're 55.
Really?
Yes, it is intense. He comes every so often. It's
How old
very
is he?
cool. He is in his 30s. So
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like just having it, like you guys, I try to tell you guys as you get older, you never stop being an athlete. There's people that they're going to be like weekend warriors, that they are 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, then Friday night right into a sport, or they're training, or they have an event or a race. Coach Gemma, for example, he does races all the time. Coach Gemma is one of our track coaches.
Okay.
So, but we have a lot of people that we open it up to. I've had coaches come to the recovery clinic as well. But it's pretty cool. I try to make sure that, again, we treat everybody that comes in.
Sounds very cool. So, we were talking about it before too. When it comes to like the outdoor sports and a lot of running sports and stuff like that, usually it's like the fall season, the spring season, when you're out there with the cart and you got your Gatorade tanks in.
Yes.
So I think we're gonna transition into that now because what is like when it comes to making your Gatorade? What do you do? What's the mixture usually?
Well, it depends on the game and it depends on the day. I mean,
Really,
if
it's like that. It's like that deep.
It really is, because I take pride in what I do. I like to make sure I have the Incredible Hulk, which is yellow Gatorade mixed with the blue Gatorade and a little bit of lemon lime electrolytes from Liquid IV. I have one of them, it's Purple Rain. I'll do a blue mixed with a red, and then I'll add a little bit of cherry Gatorade, and it just varies depending on what we're doing today. For today, I have our Pirate's Blood one. It was just homecoming, so that was an exciting day, and that was awesome. Congratulations to Fitzy and Noah.
Yeah.
So that's great. But yeah, so if you guys would like, I can do the
All right.
Pirate's Blood mixture.
Let's get into that today. What are we working with?
So for Pirate's Blood, usually I'll also have a strawberry liquid IV. I forgot that downstairs, so we're going to do Pirate's Blood light a little bit.
Okay, that's fine.
So for the first part of that, I do 2 parts of the red Gatorade. There we go. Red Gatorade. Cool blue Gatorade. You can see how light that is. These are just empty cups for when we're going to taste test it. And then electrolytes that I utilize. We usually do the electrolytes. And then, of course, I would have my strawberry liquid IV right here. But again, Pirate's Blood light.
Yeah.
So
okay.
usually I'll take the big container, I'll take a larger container, and mix that into the water with ice, and then stir it up, and then add a little bit more water, see how it goes, and see what we need. So if I could grab your water
Yep,
right there,
of course.
I'm going to have this be the makeshift cooler for the day.
Perfect.
So go a little bit of the red.
Oh, I'm thinking, should we get a spoon? Or I mean, yes,
Nope.
you could shake
Or
it, right?
shake it up.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
A little bit of the blue. And
So now, what is the electrolyte? Like, what is inside of the electrolytes? Because I've had the conversation with you about, putting Himalayan pink salt in your water, like a little
Yes.
bit for electrolytes, but I know that there's also mixtures like that where you can, get like magnesium and not just like salt, but also different types of salts.
so we have magnesium, potassium, and of course salt inside the electrolytes. This is a liquid electrolyte, so it's easier to mix and easier to dissolve into the system. And it goes right into your stomach and then helps to alleviate any cramps and prevent cramps. So I like to tell people, especially on days that are going to be exceptionally hot, to make sure that they drink an electrolyte drink before bed. They drink a lot of water. You want to make sure that on days that you're going to have a heavy activity, like a heavy day of activity, you want to make sure that you are preparing your body. You don't go into a test studying 5 minutes before the exam.
Right.
Typically, no. I mean, if students do it, I can't really stop you guys from doing that.
Been there.
But I expect better from you. If you're a good student, don't do that. So one of the things that you want to do is leading up to competition is making sure that the nutrients in your body are what you need. Sometimes they have pasta dinners before some games.
Right.
The night before. That's because the carbohydrates are going to help push you a little bit further through the game.
Right.
You want to hydrate on days that are going to be hot and are going to be a little bit, too much because the hotter out it is, the more you sweat. The more you sweat, you know, you ever get sweat in your mouth when you're sweating?
Yep.
Tastes salty.
Right.
That's the electrolytes being sweated out.
Exactly.
So you want to make sure that you are hydrating properly.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Okay, so that's the thing. So we're going to go probably see a little bit of the color, and that is our pirate's blood.
Nice.
Go like that. So let me just make sure. Okay. So I'm going to just like that. You can kind of see a little bit of the color,
Oh yeah,
that
it's
reddish.
definitely dark.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So cheers, bud.
Thank you, Liz.
No problem. And you get that little bit of that like kick in the back, like that sugary kick.
Yeah.
That's gonna go. That's the electrolytes in that. So
It's definitely like salty too.
Yeah.
Like you could taste how like the salt in it.
yep. There's a little bit of salt. It's not too much, but
Right.
it's enough. Again, it would be a little bit more salty had I had the liquid IV in that.
Right.
But
Yeah, the liquid IV definitely it's got that
absolutely.
taste to it. Kyle, you want to come out here and taste it?
Here we go.
Just keep it recording, and you can you can rate it.
I've dreamed to be on here one day. Now is my time.
You got it, bud.
So what is this? Blue and red mixed together?
With electrolytes, and then usually I would have a strawberry liquid IV.
I do taste the salt.
Yeah.
Yep.
Give
I
it
like
a,
it.
what's the
It
rating?
tastes like the bottom of a rainbow Italian ice.
Wow.
Yep.
That is actually a very good comparison. I like that a lot.
A lot of the athletes say it's like a melted bomb pop for this one.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, that makes
just like
sense
that.
too.
So
That's a solid 8-7.
there you go. I like
Nice.
it. I like it. Next time I got to make sure you try the Incredible Hulk.
And then we also have to have the liquid IV
I do
too.
like lemon lime.
There you go.
But yeah, this is great. I'm loving this. This is it's a very dark color, but it's great.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be dark just because you're mixing all those different colors
Right.
together.
Obviously.
But yeah, when you mix the other ones together, it's like if I mix the orange and the red, it looks more of like a sunset color.
Mhm.
If I mix the yellow with the red, it's more of like a brighter orange color.
Yeah.
So it always will vary.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Well, I think that's really all the time we have here today. But thank you so much for coming on and making us the Pirate's Blood mixture. And hopefully I get to taste all of the other mixtures that you make in the future.
Absolutely.
But again, thank you so much for coming on. Like, I really appreciate for you being here today.
No, thank you for having me. I feel so honored. I feel awesome. This is exciting. Thank you.
Of course.
You guys are great.
Thank you. All right, so that's all the time we had here on the Sheep in the Meadow podcast. Make sure you guys tune into future episodes. And thanks again to Liz for coming out here today. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.